Hello and welcome to Sunset Talks, a podcast by Sunset Hospitality Group. This podcast delves into the hospitality world. It takes you behind the scenes and to know more about all the aspects of the hospitality management. And today we have a very special episode because we're diving into the legal aspect of any hospitality management. And for that, we have with us Maude El Khoury, who is the General Counsel of Sunset Hospitality Group. Welcome, Maude.
Hi.
Maude El Khoury, you are the General Counsel of Sunset Hospitality Group.
Yes.
And today you will take us behind the scenes of your department, your division, your team, and all these stereotypes and all the leadership programs that you do as a woman. First of all, Maude, I want to start with you about your background. You are initially a lawyer. You studied law. But what brought you to hospitality? Two different fields. And
Yes.
for a woman, it's a bit, hard
Unusual.
to go from the legal and completely shift to hospitality.
Yeah.
I need to know what's behind that.
So basically, I moved from Lebanon 10 years ago, and I worked in multiple industry before. And surprisingly, during Corona, I moved to Sunset.
Okay.
Exactly. Everyone was asking me, how come you're moving to hospitality during what's happening in pandemic and everything? But I was a risk taker. And I'm very happy that I took. It was the biggest risk that I took, and I'm very proud of what I did.
Hospitality management companies
Yes.
were, I think they were removing people from their teams, and
Most of our outlets were closed.
yeah,
by
and
the
you
way.
just joined. So obviously, this gives a lot of insights about your character.
Yeah.
You took this risk easily.
Yes, I was like, okay, it's a new challenge, and sometimes you have to go outside your comfort zone. So I said, yes, why not? I met with Antonio, and I saw the potential, and I saw the plans, and I was very excited to be part of this plan, and here I am,
Yeah.
3 years and a half after. Yeah.
Interesting. But tell me more about why you chose law. I mean, you said you're Lebanese.
Yeah.
In Lebanon, it's
Three.
Yeah, it's you're either a doctor
Yes.
or a lawyer or an
engineer.
architect or engineer.
Correct. Yes.
So, and your parents are in this
Of course.
field?
No. But
okay.
Exactly. I don't have my parents in any of these fields,
So
but
why
I
you
had
chose law?
these three options: whether doctor, engineer, or a lawyer.
Typical
So it was by.
Lebanese.
So it was by elimination.
Okay.
And I have my cousin was a lawyer, so I said, yeah, why not to take the same path as he took.
When I was a child, this is a fun story. I used to look at our neighbor. She was studying law, and she spent hours and hours on the balcony studying. And I was like, I asked my parents, what is she doing? And they said she's studying law. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do that.
Maybe it was me.
You took, probably, you took this chance and
Yeah.
you spent obviously hours studying for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sleepless
that's
nights.
interesting.
And until now as well, I still have the sleepless nights. Yeah.
Exactly. In the legal industry, there's the male-dominated factor, and we can see it everywhere. If you enter a law firm, you will see men with ties. We don't see a lot of women. Tell me if you ever had any bias or like stereotypes in your industry.
So basically, as you said, my industry is very male dominant. So it's very unlikely to see a woman in this field. And I had one time where I entered a meeting, and I wanted to start the meeting. I was meeting with a potential partner with us. And I was about to start the meeting, and he was, no, we're still waiting. I was like, waiting for who? He's like, we're still waiting for Mr. Moody. So
Oh,
so I'm like, this is not a mister, it's more than it's me.
Oh,
so basically, in their mind, general counsel and hospitality, definitely it's a man. So you can see the shock in their face and know how come it's. So
Wow.
yeah, you can face
and
a lot of.
that's in 2023, 2024.
Yeah. That's in 2022 exactly.
Well, we
2022.
should work more on that to break this stereotype.
Yeah.
Maude, there's a lot of things about the legal industry, a lot of paperwork, a lot of laws, a lot of stuff that you need to memorize and work on. And I'm sure your work-life balance, it's at some point affected. And I want you to be honest here. How are you managing that? You answered one of my emails on a Saturday night. I was somewhere having dinner and you were replying to my email.
Yeah.
What were you doing? Why?
Working. So back to your question, work-life balance, it's a little bit challenging.
Okay.
But I have justification for that. The first one is what I do. I don't consider myself I work. This is something that I'm passionate about. When you love what you do, you don't see yourself working. I'm passionate about what I do, and this is what helped me more about and drive me to give more and more. And the second part is that it's my choice. Now my focus is on my career and my growth. So this is why it's a choice and not by force, let's say, or it's not because I have to, but I want to.
You simply enjoy what you do.
Exactly.
You know, this is something that we hear a lot of at Sunset. And I remember in one of my episodes with Antonio and other team members, they kept mentioning that you have to love what you do if you work in hospitality. And this is exactly what you're saying. But you know, in the legal industry, there's a lot of this balance between the legal compliance and business opportunities. I don't really know the relation between all of these, so I need you to explain more about that and what is it about?
Our aim in Sunset is we don't start operation before we have the right legal structure and we make sure that we are in compliance with all the rules and regulation. And it's very important because I worked in other company where we start the operation and then we deal with legal challenges.
Okay.
And which you need to put down more efforts in dealing with all the challenges and all the dispute and all the claims. So I think it's very important as Sunset and any hospitality company to know and to understand the legal structure that you require before you start operation, because this will help you to grow in a healthy way.
You know, I asked Antonio about like some kind of advice for people who want to invest into hospitality management companies. And the first thing he said, finish and understand the legal work, because there's tons of legal papers that need to be done before you enter this. So it's completely what you're saying. The amount of papers you need to work on, because we are present in 17 countries.
Yep.
Do you really know the legal parts in 17 countries, Maude?
I have to.
17 countries?
I have to.
How do you manage that?
Well, I manage that. To be fair with you, I have as well legal counsel that are present in the country.
Okay.
That help me with local laws. Otherwise, I wouldn't. So I have their guidance. But yes, before we start operating, I would have to know everything just to make sure, because any single mistake, it will cost you for the operation to shut. And this is not what you want, especially if you're entering a new market where you are not known before. The last thing that you want is to say that, oh, they closed the operation or
because of a legal issue.
Of course.
So you know more about the regulatories in every single country because you have teams operating on the floor.
Correct.
Let's say in Asia, we're opening in Singapore and you need to have all the legal papers. Do you face challenges in that?
Of course. And we start with the language barrier, because sometimes you talk with authorities that they don't speak your language, and then you have to have someone translating, and someone as well will not translate for you or everything. So language is a barrier, and the different jurisdiction that you work with, that's another.
And also timing differences,
course,
and we're talking about like 7-8 hours of differences, so working hours will be completely shifted.
I don't have working hours, especially
that's
you
why
have
you
with
reply on
Asia
Saturdays.
and then you have Europe. So we are 4 hours behind in Bali, and then you have UK and Europe. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but again, it's a fun industry, and when you love what you do,
I can see the passion. It's radiating all over. Maude, there is one thing that I realized about your team. That you are all women. My first question: why there's no why there's no man?
Okay.
The second question is, I want to know more about your mentorship and your leadership, because you know, as I said, the gender equality and helping women to grow and to enter the legal industry. You're probably doing that by selecting the team members. I'm sure that they are so efficient and all these details. But I want to know: did you find a guy, for example, who has the same as the woman that you have in your team?
To be fair with you, when I was recruiting for my team, is that I can see the passion in the woman to say that, yes, I'm a woman and I want to be in this industry, especially that, as I said, it's a male-dominant word. So I can see how passionate they are to be present in this and to show that what a man can do, exactly a woman can do. So, and I'm really proud to have a team of women, and as well, I'm happy that I'm guiding them and I'm making sure that they have the right mentorship to become they are already successful, but to become more and more successful, and seeing them growing and achieving as well the highest position.
We can see it. You have an amazing team, and kudos to all the team members. Maude, I want to know more about your managing style, because you work in legal. So it's not a typical relationship between a manager and the team members. What do you brief them? What do you get? What type of work that you receive?
So basically, when they started with the company, I made sure that they understand the legal structure of the company and the operation. And I gave them, because I trust them, otherwise I wouldn't have recruited them. So this trust that I have with them, I make them do whatever they want, and they understand what has to be done and what should be done.
They receive the brief from you, completely clear.
Exactly. When you are working in a company, it's not only about the legal aspect as well. You need to look at from a business operation as well. So they are very close to the operation. They make sure that, okay, we are protecting from legal perspective, but as well we're making sure that the best business interest is there as well.
It's like some kind of contracts you receive. For example, we're opening a new venue, because I'm trying to understand what is the type of work that you do. One of the simplest thing is like when we want to open a new venue and the legal work. So you give them the brief, or it's the operation who gives?
No, it's
them?
I give them the brief, and then they will sit with the operation to take it from there. We deal everything from the licenses to the contract to the franchise to everything. It's very diverse. It's not only like one side of contract, but it has a very wide variety of topics that we deal with, from IP to franchise.
I want to know more why, in your opinion, there's lack of women presence in the legal industry. Do you have any specific reason for that?
I think they look at a woman as they are a little bit soft, maybe, because, you know, the legal industry can have a lot of challenges.
You have to be tough.
You have to be tough. So, no, we're not soft. We are tough when we need to be tough. And my advice to all the women in this field is be confident. Make sure you have the skills and you have the expertise. So we can do that. And here I am. It's an example that...
exactly. And your team of all women. So we're jealous here. Maude, we have in the company a lot of ethicals, and when it comes to the legal, you know, everything has to be ethical. How do you manage the ethical stuff with the let's say the management of the hospitality companies, the venues, the hotels, resorts, dining, etc., etc.? How do you manage that?
It's not only about the legal it's not only about the legal team, but it's as a company, as a management, we work in the highest ethical standard, and I think this is why Sunset is well recognized. Is because not only we make sure that the legal team is providing all the ethical guidelines and all the ethical training, but as well it's coming from the management. Even the decision and the vision of the management, it's always working on the ethical and how we make sure that we maintain this is through the code of conduct, through the training. Any team member can
highlight a certain point or talk about
exactly. So we have a whistleblowing process.
And we have this culture of open doors for the co-founders. So whenever we have anything, we just speak to them directly. There's, I don't know about legal, but when we come to when we speak about technology, we introduce or we use technology in finance, in marketing, in digital. I don't know, how do you use that in legal?
Exactly. With all the papers that you see on my desk.
I want you to tell me, how do you use technology and how is it part of your job?
Yeah. So basically, lawyers are known about the markers and the papers, but currently with everything that is being developed, we are definitely being introduced to softwares that we use. So basically, we started implementing this in Sunset, having a software that you can generate a template. Let's say you want a franchise agreement, for example. So you put all
the details,
yes,
all the info,
and then
it
you will
generates?
have it will generate, and definitely as well, it store the agreement in an archive and the signature. So we're using a software to be more technology advanced.
We hear a lot about AI recently, and when it comes to law, I know I'm 100% sure it's not applicable at all, but I'm sure that at some place someone is using AI to draft such things. Are you expecting this to be, more often in the industry? Do you think that people would use AI to draft legal contracts?
You can generate a template, but you need someone that has a background, especially in the operation, to understand the business, because I can generate for you now. You can access so many templates online, but putting the right words in the right context and having it tailored to what you need, that's when you need nothing.
You need the human.
You need the human source.
You need the human factor.
You need me.
AI is not taking over the legal. No, we're safe. There's one question that I always had in mind is, like, for example, me, I work in marketing. I have KPIs. My KPI is, I'm just giving an example, increase the number of followers by 75%, or I don't know why. What are your KPIs? Like, I don't know. What is it? How do you measure your success as a leader, and how do you measure the success of your team members?
As long as you don't have any operation closed, that means the legal is doing
doing very well.
Exactly.
Okay,
so this is how we protect the business, is to avoid any legal disputes. Yeah.
That's actually that's interesting, because I never knew that. I always had this mind, like, when you discuss KPIs with your team members, what do you have? So that's good to know about that. You're in Sunset you've been with Sunset for the past year and a half.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years and a half.
3 years and a half. I want the proudest moment for you in Sunset. Do you remember any of these moments?
Of course, every day. Every day is a proud moment for me. Waking up and knowing that I'm coming, there's a new opportunity, a new challenge. It's a proud moment of me. And as I said, doing something that you're passionate about, it makes you very happy with what you're doing. But every time I see a new opening, a new restaurant, even if it's a small restaurant to the biggest hotel, that's a very big, proud moment for me. But if you want to say as well, I would say Goldman Sachs because it was the most challenging for me. I was still new in the company, and going through Goldman Sachs due diligence, I was still new. I had no one in the team.
Setting all the requirements.
Exactly. That was the most challenging. But every day
we made it.
We made it, exactly.
$35 million.
Exactly.
Maude, I want to know something that like, with all this passion for law and legal industry.
And for Sunset.
And for Sunset. Well, I will keep Sunset aside for now. And I will ask you why you joined Sunset instead of establishing your law firm.
Because basically you go to a law firm when you have a problem. I wanted to be a step back, and I want I want to guide someone to be always doing the business in the right way. So this is why I don't have a law firm, because I want to guide and make sure that the business is going in a right way without having issues. Because trust me, if you have one legal issue, that can cost you the business.
And thank God we're opening all over 17 countries, plans to open in other countries. So I always had this in mind, and thank you for sharing this honest answer about that. For the lawyers, for the new ones, for the aspiring ones, what is your advice to them? I want two pieces of advice. One for the lawyers in general, and one for people who work exactly like you in hospitality management. Let's start with the lawyers, the new ones.
When I was young, when I was completing my studies in university, I used to do training every summer. While my friends would be on the beach or clubbing, I was doing training. So I did training in Court of Appeal in Paris. I did in the Lebanese Parliament. So every summer I used to do something different just for me to understand what do I want to do when I finish.
And to grow.
And when I finished my studies, I knew what direction I will take. Especially when you study law, you have a lot of diversity that you can choose. So I honestly advise everyone still doing their studies, completing their studies, to do such trainings, because the university will teach you about the books and how to read articles, but you need as well somewhere where you practice what you have studied and how to interact with people, which I think this is very important.
I think it's more important.
It's more important.
Yeah, it's
than
life
books.
ethics and
Exactly.
teach you how to deal in every single situation.
Yeah.
And what about your advice to those who are in the legal industry but for a hospitality?
Be persistent and be confident about what you're doing, because if you have a goal, you will achieve it. Even if you hear about no, you cannot do it, but prove them wrong and you'll reach what you want.
Women empowerment.
Of course.
Well, with this advice, Maude, we will have to summarize the episode. For me, it was really full of insights. There's a lot of things that I didn't know about your industry. And coming from marketing and the communication, I never had idea about what you do, except for drafting contracts. So now I have a big, insight about what you do, and I'm happy that you shared all these insights with us. Thank you for joining
Thanks for
this
hosting me.
episode. Do you have any closing notes before we summarize our episode?
Basically, people usually used to be afraid of coming to the legal department because we are known that we complicate things, but it's not the case. And you can see from Sunset, we are here to guide people and to make sure that what we are doing is in the right track, in the legal way. We can make sure that the company is growing in a healthy way. And
It is.
And we are happy to be part of this success.
Definitely. I mean, we can see all that because the company is growing. And again, we're in 17 countries and coming to other countries
17
soon.
as of now, as of
As
tomorrow.
of exactly, as of now. So thank you again, Maude, for that. With this, we sum up our episode for today. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify, on Apple, and on Anghami if you want to hear more about Sunset News. Thank you for joining us, and join us as we bring people together.